back better than ever, man. I done missed a couple weeks or so, but hey, we back with the Quentin Flowers experience. So I ain't gonna cap, bro. I done forgot how the season was going, but apparently we 10-2. You know what I'm saying? Can we make it to the Super Bowl? Look like we are. Let's look at the stats for Quentin Flowers. He got 2,300 yards, 53%, 29 for 29 pass to touchdown ratio. That's bad. Terrible. Let's see. Yards per attempt, 8.6. Longest pass, 62. He got sacked 20 times. Yeah, man. Let's see how he stack up against the rest of the league real quick. Oh yeah. Bro, it's all the way down here when it comes to yards. What about touchdowns at least? Man, he ain't even leading in touchdowns. He at 29 though, so he 5th place. That ain't too bad. Picks, I know he leading the league. Yup, 29. Ain't no coming back from that one. Completion ratio, obviously, a nigga that threw a couple passes gonna have the most, but Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson, so he way under 70 and 60. Let's see. Alright, that's all we needed to see. Now we just finna see if he can make it to the Super Bowl. Let's have us some entertainment going on while we waiting. See what this crazy ass nigga Kevin Samuels gotta say.
Because technically anyone could have a kid. Anyone could have a baby. It doesn't take a certain amount of money in your bank account. I remember TK Kirkland, who's a regular on my show, said that women should have a rule that if a man doesn't have at least $50,000 in their bank account, he should not be allowed to have sex.
Right.
He shouldn't be allowed to ruin your life, and give you a baby and not be able to really support it if he doesn't have a certain amount of money put aside.
I want to say in Memphis, there was a story that got a lot of traction that between 3 men, they had upwards of 70 children. And the thing is, these women were going into having relationships with these guys. Could they afford these children? Not no. But all these women knew about one another. Well, all right. What message does that send to guys? What message does that send to men? And that's what I think anything else. For the women who are outraged, step outside of yourself and ask about who do you want your brother, your son? And that's what I tend to do a lot of times with women. Would you want your brother or your son to deal with the kind of woman that you are or the kind of women that they're coming out? And almost all the time they're like, I'm like, well, what do you think they're going to pick from as far as the dating market? See, self-awareness, humility, gratitude, empathy. Shout out to Gary Vee. I got me. And there's some other things in there too. But we have to start understanding that women have to start understanding where men are coming from, because like it or not, ladies, you control access to sex and you decide when a life is brought into this world. You get the end choice. Men control access to relationships and marriage. And if the marital rate, if men aren't getting married, you got to look at it as a consumer. You got to give the market what they want or they're not buying. Men are just not purchasing marriage in the same level as they were. And we in society far too long, we've been saying it's because you men are bad. Well, ask the men.
That nigga Kevin Samuels be spitting. Alright, let's go. We got the first
I think to be fair, men have not just had an advantage their entire lives. I think this goes back thousands of years. I mean, in general, men have had an edge when it comes to society over women. It just is what it is.
Should we though? Should we?
Should we what?
Should men have an advantage?
Well, I'll say this. I'll say that when you look at, for example, certain societies, like certain countries in the Middle East, where women are not allowed to work at all, or even drive cars or go to college or whatever, those countries suffer compared to the countries that are first world that actually embrace women into the workforce.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge loss when you take women out of the equation.
And if you look at the Netherlands, where they're the more the egalitarian society in the world, and they've let people do them things, and women and men have sorted themselves into their positions nicely. Men tend to do more on the science, engineering, technology, infrastructure side. Women tend to do more on the social work, retail, administrative side. Men and women know how to do these things. So we tend to go towards these extremes. And what I'm saying is men and women are different for a reason. Yes, women have their place, but the place of a man has been devalued so much to where even just trying to say that men deserve anything is almost offensive, where we feel like we got to balance it, that men have had an advantage. You mean men have had an advantage in the world that men built? Who built it? Who goes to war? When you go out and kill the mastodon or this or that, who protects it? The very things that keep the world running. I've had that show. Okay, take it away from my show. Okay, Bear Grylls, season 2, The Island. Men on one island, women on another island, and just see what happens when women and men are dropped into nature. Women would have died. Men almost built the damn internet. I'm just kidding. But come on, we know these things. But it's like, you can't say that. You can't say it. We got to keep a balance, because you know why? Because women are the greater consumers and they spend more and this and that. And I get it. And I'm not trying to devalue what women do, but what I think is, what I've seen is there are only certain men getting credit. Like if you ask this question, what percentage of men are having sex or having children? Most women get that number off because they're looking at the kind of men they want. When 40% of men on this planet will probably never have kids. In our community, 51% of men are single and childless. The greater majority of kids are made by a small group of men. They're the ones with all the access and the legacy.
This nigga Kevin Samuels be preaching for no reason.
In the clip, you said, we built the goddamn world you live in. The platform you're on is built by men. Nobody made this about men or women.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Well, I want to say this. I mean, when you look at, for example, construction workers, 90% of them are probably men. That's just an area that men historically have, moved into. Not to say that women can't do pretty much the same job these days with machinery and whatever else, but you're right. Men are mostly construction workers. When I look at society as a whole, like, for example, when I look at my business, the only executive of my company is a woman, a black woman at that. Women have been extremely key into the building of LAD TV over the years. When I worked in software companies, there were women executives, there were female, software engineers and so forth. And even though women may not be as hands-on in business as, it's not 50-50 necessarily, but I feel that women are extremely key to the building of society. And in fact, even the motivation for men to do what they do is usually for women. You take women out of the equation and men will not be as motivated.
Granted. But that's not the question. See, the question is not, are women important? It's relative contribution. See, it's like the whole wage gap. If you take the wage gap the way it's calculated, women's hours worked, men's hours worked, divide by the number, and it comes up with a number of, there's a wage gap. But what it doesn't account for is multivariate analysis. And when we have these conversations about gender, it tends to be univariate, one way. We don't take into consideration that women, just like women want higher representation at the upper levels of corporations, right? Okay, then I want you to have higher representation at the lower levels too. You need to be digging ditches. You need to be trashmen. They only want the representation at the higher end. You need, but you don't want it at the lower end. And see, that's how we tend to do things. We look at it in the best case scenario. Yes, there are women who are valuable in corporations, this, that, but 6% of women in this country earn over $100,000. 6. And in your line, STEM, science, engineering, technology, and math, it is known that colleges and universities are struggling to get more women into these programs. So while, yes, after companies are built, can women come in, are women coming in and doing these things? Yes, but who's taking the risk building these organizations? And overwhelmingly, it's men. Overwhelmingly. Before a woman could step into the executive position, it took DJ Vlad to build it. And all I'm trying to get women to do is understand that the very guy 20 years ago that you probably wouldn't look at is the guy you need to be able to have a little bit more vision and say, well, if I get with him now and I stick with him now while I'm building with him now, I can reap all the benefits later. This is the problem. Most women say they want men who are high value, but they don't want to do the work when they're average looking. See, Bill and Melinda got together young, so she got the benefits later on. But if you want to not have to build a bob or build a boo, you want it later, then great. You're going to have to deal with a much more competitive situation. So either way, it still works.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Melinda Gates got with Bill when he was already like a billionaire. You know, she was working at Microsoft as like a manager, but he was the CEO and founder of Microsoft when she met him. She didn't meet him in high school.
I was thinking about his girlfriend. So, granted, but the story still, the premise still sticks though. It's never about devaluing women's importance. See, what we've done so much is we overvalue it. We just had Mother's Day. Churches were full, restaurants are full. Father's Day is about to come up. Come on, man. You'll have women celebrating their second Father's Day, and that's the imbalance. See, we're so busy trying to pat women on the back. What about the guys, man? And that's what my show does. It's the first time when I'm walking out in the streets, men are like, thank you, thank you, thank you. On the way over here, I had to take 6 pictures. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Uber driver, cab driver, this guy, that guy. Because it's out of balance, Vlad. That's all I'm saying. It's massively out of balance. And instead of trying to make sure that all women are getting their credit, can we look at the amount of credit guys are getting? And is the average guy or even the above average guy, or are men getting anything? And you'll hear that, well, you've gotten it for your entire life. Now it's our turn. I disagree. That's what makes my show good, because I'm willing to have the conversation.
People, that makes no sense, because what if I did wear that bonnet?
And we finally back, ladies and gentlemen. We got Lizzie with the glizzy in this hole.
Hey.
We got Shrimp Gang in this hole.
What's up?
We got Donna in this hole.
Hey.
And we in this hole, and we off the lick, man.
Off the lick, man.
Hey, man. Shout out to Donna. Hey, Donna, you want to say something to the people?
Not yet.
Not yet? You don't want to introduce yourself?
Oh. I'm Donna, a.k.a. the nigga. That's it.
Weird. But hey, man, without further ado, let's start the show.
When the full fell asleep, I can't fight it. Locked in my mode, I feel like I'm indicted. All turning cold and I think that I like it. Look at my drip, got these hoes all excited. They tried to kill me, the fire ignited and I
And we back with the Off the Lick podcast, man. We ready for the first topic. After taking a hiatus, we finally back. Ironed out some differences. Probably got COVID. But anyway, hey man, chill out. But yeah, man, who want to start the first topic?
What was
The airport shit.
So we're gonna have our guest start off with the first topic.
Yeah.
So pretty much, Monique, the comedian,
You got COVID.
made a statement saying that black females, she targeted for black females, shouldn't come out the house, especially at the airports, wearing bonnets and pajamas and just looking homely. They should have respect and pride in how they look and come out the house looking, I guess, quote unquote, presentable. So that was just put out there to a group I'm in, and everybody was just like, thoughts on how y'all feel about that.
I like the conversation we had earlier about it, but I say what I said. Actually, huh?
It don't exist.
Huh?
It does this. I might edit
No,
that
the
back in.
conversation. Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But yeah, man, I'm pretty much thinking like, okay, it don't really matter what somebody chooses to wear to an airport, especially if like you didn't pay for their clothes or you're not paying their bills or shit like that. I don't feel like it's a big deal whether a person want to wear pajamas or they want to hop in a suit. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times people get kind of caught up in what everybody else is doing, and they start to like kind of like not pay attention to what they need to focus on, because they so focused on what the next person's doing. Yeah. Go ahead.
And,
Lizzie.
with,
Go ahead.
with me, like I said, it's very subjective. It makes sense that yes, you do want to have or look presentable when you go outside, but I feel like certain places call for certain attires. Like you wouldn't wear pajamas to your workplace or to a job interview or something like that, or to a funeral. You wouldn't do that.
What the fuck
But
was that,
something like
man?
an airport where it's like a place of transit, where it's kind of like the only thing people are worried about is going to their next flight or trying to find a ride. I don't think that should be a big deal to me, but I do understand the logic behind it. But to make an objective statement saying that you shouldn't go outside looking like that is kind of like you can't really do that. But subjectively, if you want to live your life like that, then yes, like all power to you.
Oh my God. Is he with the glizzy?
So wait, just so I'm on the same page. It's about the whole bonnet thing, right?
Yeah.
So to me,
Ooh. No, I'm just. Go ahead.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Me personally, I agree with you, because I feel like it doesn't matter what like people come out the house in. Like that's what makes them feel comfortable to, you know, get to wherever they go and whatnot. Like people might want to feel the most comfortable because people have like fear of flying, so they just want to like be as comfortable as possible. Like who are we to be like, why you come out the house like that? Ugh, blah blah blah, whatever. Like who cares? Like you not paying their bills, but you just want something to talk about. Want to start drama? Okay. Are you happy? All right. That's how I feel about it.
I got another point to make.
Go ahead, Donna.
Based off what y'all said, because all y'all, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all kind of made it sound like, you know, to each their own.
True.
I kind of feel like certain statements that people make, I don't think it's them, you know, trying to be in somebody's business or tell them how to live or worrying about something other than themselves. I think that's just a little bit of advice you put out there. Because, you know, if you with your homegirl or your homie and they looking a hot mess, you going to tell them, hey, shorty, like them shoes, not today. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do that out of love, out of caring for them.
But that's
So with like Monique, it was, I don't have a problem anytime when black people are telling other black people to do something that's good for them. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all said, like how Marquez was just like, sorry, Shrimp Gang.
No, you can call me Marquez.
Oh, Marquez. Okay, cool. I know how he was pretty much, you know, like there's a time and place for everything and where you wear. And, you know, he did use the grocery store and stuff like that, but pajamas and bonnets are made to sleep in. You know what I'm saying? They're made to be in your house, in your bed. So even if I know when we first talked about it, Emery, you also say, it might be 4:00 in the morning. Okay, people wake up at 4:00 in the morning and go to work.
Okay,
You know
I
what
got
I'm
a
saying?
question.
People wake
I got a
up early
question.
to do all types of stuff. Like I don't think it's a matter of trying to like shade. I think that's a good thing.
No, I get what you're saying, but I got a question because I asked this question earlier. You said like people can go to the like airport in like sweatpants, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also, then the very next sentence you said sweatpants were made for you to be exercising, right? That's what they were made for, right?
Not all sweatpants are made for exercise, though.
That's,
But that was
we
just
we just going off what you said.
You right.
So-
You
I see where
right.
he's going
You
with this.
right.
I see where he's
Yeah.
going with this.
So if you saying pajamas are made for you to be in the bedroom and sweatpants are made for you to exercise,
But where are you exercising at?
you not exercising in the airport?
You don't. But you're actually. I'm not gonna say majority of times. I don't know what people do in their day-to-day lives, but
Nah, yeah, I
when
get
you
it.
exercise, you can be exercising in public, which is why they made clothes so that when you do exercise in public, you
But-
can wear something that's more fitting for
with that logic,
activity.
with that logic, I can be like, okay, when I go to the airport, I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep. So I sleep in my pajamas, so I'm gonna be on the plane sleep anyway. So
Yeah, but
you know what I
that's-
mean?
Your intention is not to go to sleep.
But your attention is also not to exercise when you go
Exactly.
to the airport. So if you wore sweat, that's where he's saying like
Yeah,
if you wear
that's what I'm saying.
sweatpants,
So
I get what
with,
you're saying,
with
but
that
like
logic, it kind of
Yeah.
disrupts itself.
I'm saying inside and outside. Whether the clothes are made to exercise, whether you wear them inside or outside, their pajamas and a bonnet was made for inside your room, inside your bed when you go to sleep,
Yeah, that's what it was
inside your
made for.
house.
Okay,
But here's the
What
thing. Here's the thing.
dictates
Hold
what
on. I got
pajamas
one more
is?
thing to say. I got one more
Yeah.
thing. So I remember you said you never know who you're gonna see, but you never know how somebody can perceive something either. So in a place like a place of transit, like an airport or a public place like a grocery store, a place where it's really not all you really have to do is just wear clothes. Okay. Like no one's worried. No one should be. It's not a big deal if somebody is out.
Yeah, we fucking lost that game. Fuck it.
Looking whatever because
That's
they're
what I'm
only
saying.
there to go grocery shopping or they're only there to go to the airport. Now, if you are going to a job interview or you're going to the club or you're going to a function or a funeral, then you go in the proper attire that is appropriate for that situation. So to objectively say that you cannot leave the house in this sort of way is invalid. You can only do it subjectively to your own. If you want to live like that, then that's cool. Like if you said, hey, I don't do that. I don't like going out, saying in my bonnet or whatever, then it's all right. That's cool. But to objectively do that and then say that you're helping people, that makes no sense because what if I did wear that bonnet in the airport and a billionaire just so happens to see my bonnet and asks me, hey, where'd you get that from? And then we just whole conversation happens and then next we're networking. You don't know how somebody might
Alright,
perceive
when-
something.
That's facts.
when that happens, let me know.
But wait,
'cause that-
Lizzie.
But
Lizzie had
but
something.
your situation kind of doesn't.
If you're a billionaire,
your
asking
situation
where you
doesn't
got
make
a
sense
bonnet
either.
from, like,
hold on.
if
Lizzie-
you're a
Lizzie
billionaire,
was
you
trying
don't
to
ask people where you get. You tell the person. If you're a billionaire, you tell the person
billionaires
you with.
billionaires
I
also
want
don't
that
look at somebody and
private.
say, "Oh, they're in a bonnet. I'm not going to work." Like no, they don't look. They don't worry about that
not,
either.
It's
Yeah,
not
they
a,
don't
like
either.
y'all.
They're not gonna look at you
Y'all
as
looking
like-
at it, and not saying that it's gonna help you. Or this is what's gonna help you. It's just a little bit of advice. Not everything is for everyone. So
And
somebody,
we get exactly what you're
somebody
saying.
saying like, hey, you, and really honestly, like, it don't hurt to just look presentable.
And also,
What
don't
you
hurt
was
to
finna
mind
say,
your business
Lizzie?
It
either.
don't either.
Yeah,
It don't either.
it also
because
don't hurt
I
my
said that
business.
earlier. Like I really am a like overall because it's not me. I really am a overall. However you want to do is however you want to do. When it comes to me and what I believe and what I was raised, that's one thing. And I don't.
We got
see,
18 people
like,
watching.
because a
For
lot of people
sure,
were
for
getting
sure.
upset with her about it. I don't see why y'all getting
go
so
to the
upset.
next
Like
week. We
everybody
lost
got
that one
opinions about
bad.
everything that don't
That
got
was on
shit
me.
to do
I
with
kept
them
trying
on
the
any
same
type of
play.
level.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think the fact that niggas was getting upset, I think that shit corny. Too.
Yeah,
'Cause,
and
like,
that's
what are
why-
you getting upset for? Like that shit don't even matter in the grand scheme of things.
See,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Like who give a
And-
fuck
That makes
about
sense.
what the fuck she
And I don't
think?
mind. It's kind of like when people write those self-help books. You know what I'm saying? Those self-help books, you got to figure out which ones work best for you and who says
Facts.
what you like to hear. Some females want to hear what she got to say, and they agree with her. Other people don't. But I was saying it more so like people acting like it's so wrong to say something about somebody and how they dress and appear. I mean,
Wait a second, Lizzie. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, she did have
Like,
something to
because
say.
I want her.
Yeah,
I
she-
want her
she
to
been
get her
waiting.
lick in.
She
I
been
want
waiting.
her to get her.
That was not say? All I was gonna say as I was listening to what was being said, I had developed a couple points, and one of my biggest things that I have to say is like, no one, yes, Victoria's Secret or whoever sell pajamas, make pajamas, for the bedroom, but let's be realistic here. Most pajamas that are like pajamas, people use them to like, wear to be sexy around the person in the bedroom. Like pajamas, anybody can go to sleep in anything and still go to the airport in that same thing. Like, why does it matter what I have on my head? Because it's a bonnet and not a headscarf or a turban wrap. It's still the same cloth, same material. My hair not done. You can't see it. What's the difference?
Nah, I get what she was saying.
Well,
Well, no, I'm not saying.
So
anything.
so
No,
I
I'm-
feel like
this is
we're
what the
not
point-
saying Don. I don't think you're wrong to feel the way you feel or agree with Monique's statement. What we're saying is to make an objective statement, like an objective statement, meaning like this is how it should go. That's not like, I understand what you mean by, it's just offering advice. That's cool. And I also agree that people shouldn't get mad about or attack Monique for saying what she said, because that's stupid too. I understand that. But to make an objective statement and not expect that type of attention is kind of like, you should have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if she would have worded it, that's why verbiage is very important, because you can be saying something but meaning something else. And then somebody might perceive it different too. So, I mean, you can't really, sometimes it's not going to be perfect. You're never going to reach to everybody, but it's always important to pay attention on how you word things, because it can be taken the wrong way.
The other point that I was trying to make is that a lot of people pick and choose like what bothers them and what should be brought to light in
That's a
social
fact.
media, because you have people, like 80% of black homes or 90% of black homes, when we're not raised to wear shoes around the house. But look at us in our older adult times, we're wearing shoes around the house. And people just neglect that. Like, house shoes are house shoes, outside shoes are outside shoes. But nobody ever, like, see the separation between that. But that's not being talked about. But we talk about bonnets. It's like, why? How do you pick and choose? One thing is inside, one thing's outside. Like, if you're going to talk on one thing, talk on everything.
That's why you can't talk about it objectively. Like,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I was one of those black people where wearing shoes in the house really didn't matter. Because, if you wanted to wear house shoes, you wanted to wear house shoes. But typically, we were wearing some kind of shoe around the house. And when we put our feet in our beds, they were bare. So it kind of never really... The first house we were in, we had wood floors. So it really didn't matter. The second house we were in, we had carpet, but we were all, like, older kids. So it's not like we were crawling around on the floor and using the floor that much anyways. And a lot of... I don't remember... It was, for me, it wasn't like a 90% black people thing with the shoes in the house. That's why I'm just like, yes, stuff can be objective and other stuff can't be objective, but stuff, I feel like, let me put it this way. I feel like the shoes in the house is, I guess it was just like a bad example for me to try to relate to that, because majority, I'm not going to say majority, with me, it was half and half wherever I went. Okay. And I had a lot of friends from all different types of cultures, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, and it was half and half whoever chose to do what. And usually the people who wore shoes in the house were people who were just American, black, white, Asian, whatever. The foreigners who were like fresh off the boat foreigners or like second generation foreigners, they kind of did it because their parents did it teaching them. But past that, but as far as, leaving out the house in a bonnet, for example, that's something that, like, growing up for me, across the board, black women that I knew, that's just something we just didn't do. We didn't leave the house in a bonnet. It just wasn't appropriate. I don't want to say presentable, but appropriate. That was the thing I got from it growing up. Leaving the house with holy clothes, dirty clothes, wrinkly clothes, bonnets, pajamas, like clear as day pajamas. It's just not appropriate when you leave the house.
Okay. Well, I get what you're saying. Like I said, your parents raised you a certain way. You know what I mean? They raised you, that I don't want to go out unpresentable. So, I respect that. And you also got to respect people that's just like, I don't know. I'm going to just go to the airport like crazy looking. Not necessarily even crazy looking. It's just like.
Chilling.
Yeah. What you was finna say, Lizzie?
It's just, I just can't get them. Because it's just like.
You're not talking into the mic.
No, my voice just got lower. I was talking to the mic. I just don't understand because like niggas will go out and do rags, but that's what they wear to bed. But that's cool. Ooh, that's fashionable. Like, what's the difference? Like, I can't allow myself to get past that point because of the simple fact that it doesn't make sense to me for me as a grown ass woman to tell another grown ass woman, sister, you shouldn't be coming out the house like that. Like, what do I do for them besides be a female? And then if we got the same race going on, whatnot. If we don't, whatever. We got something else in common. Like, who am I though? That's the only thing we have in common. Like, I don't know this person. I don't know what led them to the airport or whatnot. I hear stories. Freaking my friend, she got that call. Like, where are you? Why aren't you here? And it was a little switch up with her leave or whatever in the military or whatnot. And it was like she got to get back to the state, or she gonna freaking go to captain's mess or whatever case they was trying to go with her. So what she do? She jumped out of bed, didn't pack everything, wasn't worried about what was on her head or not. And guess what? She was in the airport with a bonnet on.
Okay, I get that. I understand that, but we can just agree.
No,
to
yeah,
disagree.
It's not anything about what Donna is saying. It's the
the
original
original,
statement that I can't get past because
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was going to be a thing. And then to be a sis, like a woman, to say that about other women, like I don't know.
I get it.
That's
I
just
get it.
me.
Real quick, for the record, I just want to say I feel the same way about niggas and do-rags. That shit, another thing, my mom didn't play that either. Like, y'all wear these to get waves and protect your waves while you sleep, just like bonnets. You don't wear that at the house. And then also because my mom raised black sons, she was just like, she was one of those parents, I'm not going to have my children. I need them not to at least look the part, even though to us it's no harm, but at least not look the part to get caught up, with the police.
I feel like, man, you a black man in America. You a black person in America, bro. You already got enough shit going against you. I don't feel like you should too much, stress about, trying to impress your own people when you going out. Honestly, that's just my viewpoint. Like, unless you just specifically want to, then that's on you. That's your call. That's your judgment call. But if you just decide, hey, man, I'm finna just go out the house with this do-rag on, I don't think, you should too much care about what's going on, what somebody else think. That's just all I'm saying. But, yeah, let's move on to the next subject because we off the lid.
Y'all got another subject already?
Go ahead, Lizzie. Hit us with a subject because me and my kids didn't come prepared.
Just
we
in case y'all.
apologize. We're going to think of one while you going.
So it's not much of a topic. It's just a question. So I was watching the news the other day, and apparently this girl like flying into the airport or not like attacked the what is it, one of the crew or whatnot. Like she punched him whatever, and she was like being wheeled out in a freaking wheelchair, face all busted up and whatnot, and she got removed from the plane before her flight, but they made it like they said a statement or whatnot, basically saying that she was talking too much, she's being like real rude and whatnot, and that's why the girl hit her. But my question is, have y'all seen that? And even if not seen it, after hearing what happened, like how do y'all feel about that?
I'm sorry, I missed
the whole thing.
Okay, no, I didn't miss the whole thing, but I'm trying to. What was the question?
So the question is, so if a girl attacks one of the crewmen, that's trying to like, take the flight or whatnot, and then issue a statement saying that pretty much the lady, the air crew, because she was being rude, disrespectful or whatnot, that's what she deserved, is her fault in a sense. Like, who do you feel like was right? And like,
so
why?
If a bitch just attacks somebody doing a job just because they don't have the proper customer service, that still don't give you a right to put your hands on them. You know what I mean? It's just like me being like, in a professional environment, and these people don't even know like who I am and what pisses me off, right? So if I'm in a professional environment and I'm around somebody, he's like literally like taking my kindness for weakness. But I know for a fact he don't know that he's taking my kindness for weakness or whatever. That don't give me a reason to like just start swinging off on this nigga. I have enough self-awareness that I can hold myself back. I can keep, from like, turning this into a hostile situation and shit. So I feel like even though you wasn't getting the proper customer service, I feel like you could have handled that shit the right way. You know what I mean? I think it was ignorance that probably caused her to like start like taking off on the person that was doing their job in a not, polite manner. If that's what you're saying. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm just asking your opinion on it. Like you were saying.
No, I'm saying you said the person that was doing their job, they was being rude, right?
Yeah, like just like being disrespectful and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just saying like disrespectful.
And the customer hit.
Yeah.
The customer hit the person that was doing their job because they didn't feel like the person was being respectful enough.
Okay, I got you.
So because it's like, my opinion on this is that I don't feel like, you should have to lower yourself to, hit someone or whatnot because you don't like what they said.
Yeah.
Especially because you're losing out no matter what. Like, not only did you waste your money to fly, you can't even fly, and you're probably gonna be banned from that airline, like from all over, or just that one airport. Like,
you
what
probably
are you gonna do?
getting a charge or something, getting locked up or something.
All that for what? Like, people everywhere you go, they're always gonna talk shit. Like, and it's the inevitable. You can't control what people say out their mouth. You gotta like find a point in yourself to be able to grow up and be able to ignore shit. Now, if they saying some real disrespectful shit, like, on some racist level or whatnot, well, it just depends. It just depends because you never know, like, how people would raise their mindset.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so it just depends, though. But if it's just some, like, shit that you can ignore, it's no point in doing anything. That's just my opinion.
I think everything you can ignore. No matter what people say, no matter how racist somebody get, how disrespectful. I tell everybody, you could be talking straight shit about my kids. I don't give a fuck what you say. Just don't put your hands on me or them.
That's
Past
true.
that, words are just words at the end of the day. Because if, let's say, somebody be on that bitch shit and call the police, whoever took the first hit is in the wrong.
Yep, that's your ass.
But
especially with us being, I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, us being in the Navy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Niggas don't know where the fuck we from. Niggas don't know what the fuck is going on in like our life or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But they sure as hell gonna step to you like whatever the fuck they mad about is more important than whatever the fuck is going on with you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta be smart enough to know like, okay, I can't let this nigga trick me. Cause if I hit him, first thing he gonna say is, oh, he stepped out of line and hit me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then it's just gonna be like you gonna be all on the paperwork and all this other weird ass shit, and you gonna be sitting up there like, damn, I fucked up. And rightfully so, you should feel that way because you let somebody trick you out of, what you was doing. You get what I'm saying?
I get it. That's why I tell people. And then on top of that, like, sometimes people just do stuff to entice you. Just to see what you gonna do, just to get a reaction out you. I'm not about to entertain nobody on that level. I'm not about to let nobody take me out my character to do nothing.
Yeah. What you finna say, Lizzie? Just say it. Fuck it. Quit trying to say it nicely.
I'm not trying to say it nice. I'm trying to say it so that it's understandable. So what I'm saying is you never know, like, when people, you can't just say, all words or whatnot can be ignored because you never know, like, when someone's saying something personal.
It's a trigger. I get what you're
about
saying.
you.
But
No, not even that. About it being a trigger. Like, moving past it. Someone can say something to you or about your kids or whatnot, like, oh, I'm going to do this to this person, wash your eyes, or your whatever. And then you turn around, that shit happened, but all because you ignored it, it's just like, oh, they were just words.
When
and then the
somebody
shit
say
happens.
ignore it, they don't necessarily mean ignore the threats. They mean ignore the fact that this person is being, like, overly, like, I can ignore what you're saying, but still keep my eye on what you're actually taking note of what you're saying. You know what I mean?
But then you're not, like, necessarily ignoring, the person. Like, you're just.
But you're just not letting
You're
them.
not paying them no mind.
Yeah.
But you're still, like.
Okay, then that's true then. But you're still, like, just kind of, like, not letting them trick you out of your. No, I get it. You're not letting them trick you out of your.
I feel like I understand what she's saying. So
No,
instead of using the word ignore, let's just say, not letting the person get a reaction out of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're still gonna pay attention to what the person says. You're not just gonna blow them out in the wind. And just say, they're not gonna do anything because Lizzie is right. There's some a lot of niggas don't fight these days, bro.
Yeah.
So you walking away from somebody and they're like, nah, nigga, turn around, and you hear a click, clap, pow, like that's it. Now you Ricky. You know what I'm saying? And that's some shit
Nah,
like
it's
that.
not funny. It's
not funny.
Shout out to all the niggas that got shot.
No, but like,
Shout them out.
honestly, like shit like
Shout
that
them
really
out,
happens.
man.
But here's my thing on the whole situation. Laws and rules are set there for a reason, right? To be quote unquote fair. Not fair in equality, but fairness and equality, but not fairness and equity, if that makes sense. And if you break a rule, no, regardless of what happened, if you still break that rule, you still broke that rule. But sometimes certain things can't be justified. But just because it's justified, you still fucked up. So it's like we can't sit here and say we can ignore everything, because if somebody walks up to you and spits in your face, you cannot tell them you're just gonna wipe that shit off and just go to your HR. You gonna beat that nigga's ass. like you gonna, because I know I will beat that. And no, but listen, because technically they did not hit you.
They didn't.
But it's still assault.
It's an assault, yes.
assault.
But are you just gonna wipe it off and just file an assault case? Or are you gonna
hell
react?
nah.
That's what I'm saying. That's
There
what I'm
can
saying.
be verbal
So regardless,
assaults,
no.
too, that just call
Listen,
different
because we're gonna veer off. Listen, at the end of the day, you still broke the rule. It's not saying, like, if you break a rule, you break a rule, regardless of what the hell happened. But there are things that are justified, and we just can't escape that fact. But you still have to pay the consequences. So it's just like, if somebody spits in my face and I beat his ass, and then I wind up getting in trouble for it, granted, it's justified, and it's up to whoever is in charge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you
because they
still
can see,
fucked
but
up.
you still fucked up. You still broke
Yeah.
a policy, a rule
Yeah.
that was set. That's what I'm saying. So I get what everybody is saying right now. In a sense,
I wanna revise what I said, because I'm gonna say, you can say whatever you want. Don't make anything physical. Spitting, that's making it physical.
Yeah, that's
As long as something from your body touches my body, I don't care what it is, whether it be your hand, your snot, your pee. Once
What
you
the
make it
fuck?
physical, that's when listen, let me tell y'all, I don't know who told me this, but somebody told me their kid pissed on another kid in kindergarten. And I was just like,
wow.
yeah, that's if a kid pee on me, or I find out somebody's kid peed on my kid, I'm mad as shit.
That's crazy.
According to the person who told me, that kid, I guess that one kid did something to piss their kid off, and their kid was like, bitch, I'm gonna pee on you.
And the other kid just stood there and waited on.
I didn't ask
That's
for the rest
crazy.
of the story. That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
That kid was a savage.
Man, shout out to the badass kids out there, man. Shout out to the badass kids. All right, anyways. Yeah, man. Let's go on ahead. Who got the next topic?
I got another topic for y'all.
Okay, let's get it.
All right. So, curfews when you in a relationship. How y'all feel about that?
It's a slippery slope.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't feel like curfew is like an appropriate word to use for like especially older relationships and whatnot, just because like we're not children. Like there should be no time that, you know, I should come and go. But also as the other person who's coming and going, it's all about like that respect. Like, you know, why would you want to leave your significant other in the house at 1 o'clock in the morning and whatnot to go do whatever? Crazy. It's not work related. It's not doing anything for y'all family or for that significant other. So why are you leaving so late? Now, as far as coming in that early, obviously that's fine, especially if your significant other know, like, okay, the event or whatnot is that you're at is going to be over at like 2, you know, that's understandable because y'all communicating as long as that communication is there.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
I'm not saying that you're wrong on anything you just said, but that's still a curfew. So you're basically agreeing with curfews is what you're.
How a curfew's a set.
No.
We off the list.
Listen, because you said that we're not little kids. You're associating curfew to specific, like we only use that to adolescents and we don't. A curfew, like as per definition. I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I'm saying like don't say that. Oh, I don't like, you know, like you just, if you don't like the word, then I get it, but you're
No,
still
I said
agreeing.
it's not the appropriate word to use as when you're talking in terms of older people.
But you said it as if. Never mind.
When I think of
never mind.
curfew,
You're right. Never mind.
I mean, it's not about being right or wrong.
Never mind. Yeah. You made a point. You made a good point. I was just trying to let you know that you're still agreeing with your original statement. But I'm sorry. I should have said nothing.
Go ahead, continue. Lizzie with the Lizzie.
So,
I'm gonna go back. I really want Marquez to. What's your definition of a curfew?
Who, Marquez or Lizzie?
Marquez.
No, I'm good. I'm good with the whole, like, y'all can talk about it. That was my fault.
So I just want to say, like, a curfew and an agreed time, like as Trent was saying, it's the same thing, literally. I was just speaking on the word association. When I think of curfew, I'm thinking like, all right, that's what I'm gonna give to my little sister or not. But obviously, agreed time, it still means the same thing because that's the time that everybody has an understanding of being home or whatever the case may be. I was just saying that, long as that communication is there and that respect is there, it's gonna be like a neutral time, not gonna be anything crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't.
Is it my turn or?
Go ahead.
That's where
Emery.
everyone
go
wants to
ahead.
go.
Go ahead, Emery.
Go ahead. I'm letting you get the flow.
Well,
You the guest.
I'm not going to sit here and say that agreed time and a curfew are two different things because a curfew is a set time. That is a designated time. Saying
So
I'm
what is
going
an
out
agreed
and I
time?
should be back by such and such time is not a curfew. So it.
Whoa.
What is a
Wait,
designated time? What is a designated time?
So I looked up the definition of curfew for y'all, and it says a regulation requiring people to remain indoors between specified hours, typically at night. So
we took a dub at
setting a
overtime.
curfew. Let
We
me
almost hit the
let me
Super- we
specify
almost hit
what I
the
meant by
playoffs.
that.
We got
By
like what,
curfews
3
in
more weeks.
relationship. Our curfew in our relationship is 10 o'clock. Both of us need to be in the house by 10 o'clock. And anything past 10 o'clock, you have no reason to go out with or without your nigga or your woman. Curfew.
That makes sense.
That's what a curfew is in a relationship. Now, how Lizzie, my bad. I needed to say sorry, Lizzie, because I was calling you Izzy earlier when I was introducing you.
Oh,
My
no,
bad,
you're fine.
Lizzie. How she was saying, like, I'm on agreement with her. Like, I'm an adult. I don't care if we're married. I don't care who's paying bills. I don't give a fuck about nothing. I'm an adult. And as an adult, no one is going to tell me when I can and cannot leave the house. Nobody is going to give me a curfew for anything because I'm an adult. Now, out of respect
Let's go.
for my
We got a
relationship,
breakout.
just to reiterate what Lizzie said, if you're doing
Hopefully
something,
we can upgrade
hey, I'm
'em.
going to a day party. It starts at 10 and end at 2. I might, be out till about 3:30, 4 o'clock. That's when I'm coming back in the house, depending on what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the club tonight. Everybody know the club closed at 2. It's appropriate to come back in the house, depending on how far you live from the club, because back home we would travel like 45 minutes just to get to D.C. sometimes. So depending on how far you live, you should be home within a reasonable hour. Sometimes you're going to talk outside the club if you stay at night, so you got to add that time in. But to tell your partner that, no, you need to be in the house by such and such time, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. What do y'all feel about curfews in relationships?
Well, I'm glad you looked up the definition. And I'm just going to say that I agree with y'all. And we're just going to leave it with that.
All right.
Makes
I guess
sense.
it's my turn.
Yep.
I feel like, pretty much. And I'll be back with the next
I feel like it's two
edition
different types,
of the
like,
Quentin
fucking
Flowers
curfew.
experience. I gotta go do some
'Cause
shit.
I've been on the side.
Make sure
to where I
y'all
was
tune
late
in. Make sure y'all follow the
coming back
Instagram
home
King
from
Emery
a
1230.
curfew or whatever.
Make sure y'all niggas stay in touch,
I feel
man.
like
We out this
if
hoe.
you have in your relationship, right?